Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Home Sweet Home Radio. One more time in the land of COVID, hanging out, just chilling, another average day in a world pandemic. What are you going to do, right? Stay safe out there. That's the goal. Maybe be nice to people. That'd be a good idea. Maybe not quite so judgmental. Love people that get vaccines. Love people that don't get vaccines. And I very rarely get typical or political on this show, as you guys know, because most of the time I talk about real estate. Or at least that's the game plan. And today I am excited. I'm very excited because we have hired a new team leader. And I have that team leader sitting right across the table. Definitely social distancing. We're like 47 feet apart. Hi, Isis.
Hello, Russ.
You know what? I am excited to introduce you, and I'm excited for the world of real estate in North Central Washington to get to know you like I do and my leadership team does, because we've been together now, working together in the interview process for, a long time.
Yeah, we've known each other for 6 months already, basically.
It seems like it. Seems like it. No, so we were down an admin, down a leader. The team leader role is one that's very, very important because it helps us grow our company. And as you have probably heard me say many, many times, my mission in life at the grand old age of 52 years young and 30 plus years in the real estate game is to change lives. And what I mean by that is I want to change lives to the life that people want and the life that I believe people deserve, and using real estate as the vehicle to do it. And so what you are here to do with us is not only teach and train and coach, but also help share why people should join Keller Williams and why in this Central Washington area of ours, real estate can be a magical thing to do to really change your life, right? Like that's the good news. So why don't we start out with the basics? Because you're not only, you're not new to the West Coast, but you've been around.
Yeah.
So
I'm coming back around to the West Coast,
yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So I was actually born in Mexico with my family, and I was the firstborn. So, of course, my parents thought, you know what? I don't think we want our daughter to grow up here. We want a different life for her. And when I was 4 years old, they decided to come to the U.S. I was raised in Los Angeles until I was 27, 28 years old. I traveled around, working in insurance and working with the timeshare industry. And I'm so grateful and so excited to be back on the West Coast. I'm back closer to my family. I'm back with my community. I'm trying a brand new industry to me, but it's very familiar. And I've been doing this for a week, actually doing it for 1 week. And already I feel that I've learned so much. And yes, there's a lot that we need to tell people of why they should join, not only real estate, but Keller Williams as a whole. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. What's cool is some people might have asked me, like, why would you hire somebody that has no legit residential real estate agent experience? And, on the outside looking in, that's a pretty good question, right? Since you're going to be leading our company of real estate brokers, one might think through deductive reasoning that would be a good plan. But, like I always do, I see something a little bit different, and I've developed, I hope, some wisdom through that thing called scar tissue by failing my way forward through life, right? Like just pressing and using aggressiveness and creativity, embracing those as good words, not bad words. And because of that, I realized that leadership in real estate is not necessarily tied to numbers of transactions. Because if your goal is to really change lives, part of that is to get people to understand that living a happy life isn't necessarily as complicated as our brains like to make it. And leadership is what will help, like true leadership, which I find that you have naturally. Like you're just born with it. You're born with drive. You're born with intensity. You're born with enthusiasm, which I believe is the fuel of leadership, to inspire others to simply take that step back and realize that their life isn't maybe as bad as they might think it is.
Correct.
Especially in the land of COVID. So what you bring to the table is this intangible. And I think that it's a super exciting time, because if I know this, we've been in a world pandemic for not too long, like going on 2 years, right? So the depression that's out there is legit. The stress and the lack of predictability, the lack of certainty is legit. Depression, addiction, all of these things are products, in my humble opinion, of isolationism. And then the ideology debate that seems to be running rampant fuels the negativity as well. Kind of polarizing, right?
Correct.
Well, I think that you have this gift, and I think that you're going to share this gift with everyone, and that is to simply break down those barriers and realize that living a good life and having a business worth having and the life worth living that you deserve and want is achievable right in front of so many people in our community. So let me ask you some questions.
Yes.
Yeah, and we didn't rehearse any of this, by the way. This is just raw. So tell me why you think you're a good leader.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you a little bit. When you were complimenting me, I go, wow, it's true. That's true, isn't it? Oh, man, I should really think that. I'm kidding. Aside from trying to say, you know what, I think I was born this way, whatever that may mean to people, I can say that I was born that way, but I can also say that the experiences in my past have helped me, go over some obstacles in my life. And I think one of the biggest things, and maybe my friends would tell me that think that I'm a good leader, is they say, you know what, EC's, the thing about you is I've always seen you as a woman that's fearless. You're just fearless about everything. And I told my best friend, it's not that I'm fearless. And I think that changed me internally, is accepting that, no, I do have a fear. There is a fear. I'm not fearless. I have fear, but what I'm doing is I'm choosing to be brave. I'm going to choose to be brave anyways, and I'm going to still to face the fear even if I'm scared. That's the difference, that I just try and I just go for it. Yeah. And I try to be an instigator, for change and for positivity always. So that's one of the reasons why I think that I am pretty good at being a leader, and aside from also being the oldest in my family and having to take care of almost 3 big families, I think, since I've been 6 years old since I left LA, right? That's how I feel, that I've always had a big family to take care of. So that definitely does come naturally to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's exciting, that we have a lot in common, and we have a lot not in common. You and I. I grew up in Mayberry. You know what Mayberry is?
No.
Oh, you're pretty young. It's because she's younger than me. Leave it to Beaverland. I grew up in a town called Manson, right here in North Central Washington, with 22 kids in my senior class, of which 16 of us were K through 12. And big fish, little pond athletes, so it was a fun time. There was very little crime. My dad was a farmer, and it was a great life to be a small farmer at that time. We had a big lake out back to play on.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah, and so I grew up right here. And then you grew up in L.A., and I'm sure, and I don't know anything about L.A. other than I know it's a hell of a lot bigger than Manson, right? So
L.A. is a whole monster of its own.
Yeah, and so you grew up, if you're comfortable talking about it, I think what's exciting is that I kind of had a lot of things like dropped in front of me. Like, this is pretty easy road for me. I chose to make my road hard, right? You kind of, seems to me like from the outside looking in, that you came to this country with your parents as immigrants from Mexico, and you had to bust your butt.
Yeah, I had no choice.
You had no choice.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable talking about what like that is like for someone to overcome and become a U.S. citizen, and then help your parents and help your siblings? I mean, what is that?
It's almost as if you're living in another world, I would say, to make it very quick. They're living in a world within a world, because they created all these walls around them, all these limiting beliefs of, I can't do this, I'm scared, I'm going to get pulled over. They don't have resources. They may not know the language. It's a I mean, it's very brave what they did, right? It's you're going to a new country where most likely people will look down upon you and you don't even know the language. What are you really going to do? Their only purpose was their kids. That's all they were thinking about. So it was definitely, like I said, it wasn't about having any choice. It's I have to do this. I have to be the translator. There's nobody else that's going to be the translator, right? I have to be the one giving them advice to make good decisions. I have to be the one to care for my brothers. I have to be the one to start meeting lawyers and starting this. And I did. I'm the one that fixed everything for them. So I don't know how else to explain it other than I didn't feel that I had a choice.
So you didn't know anything else?
I didn't know anything else. That's all I had to do. That was just the mission, is to have to help them. They have to become U.S. citizens. And then once that's done, then we're done.
And you started,
and then I start again.
as we wrap up this first segment, which seems like it's flying by, because your story is just fascinating and your accomplishments are incredible.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, and I think it's inspirational to me and so many other people that find themselves in this land of COVID stuck. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy for us to default into this place of despair and no hope and start focus on the darkness and not the light. So to me, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled, and I'm excited to come back in the second segment and kind of talk more about what the plans are moving forward with Keller Williams. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back with EC's and Russ McClellan, Home Sweet Home.